Welcome to another episode of Free Talk Wrestling. I am Cannon Coaster here once again with all wrestling for life, build a future, Two Sweet Plays, and our very special guest tonight, Too Sweet. Too Sweet, you want to introduce our special guest?
I may know him as the Black Steve Austin.
What? You said but it what? What happened? What?
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 It's 10 o'clock
Where?
Thursday night. What? Free Talk Wrestling.
Beer?
What?
What? Food?
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you guys for having me, man. It's a pleasure to spend my evenings talking about wrestling.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
It's always a good time. See some
So-
familiar faces in here. Who we got? We got Feel the Future, All Wrestling for Life, Big Josh over here, Two Sweet Blaze. Good to see you guys.
So, where do we start with what happened? Do we start at Backlash with what happened this week?
Yep, it was backlash.
Do you mean the filler pay-per-view?
I don't know if that was
Filler.
a filler pay-per-view. I mean, it may have started out like that, but it didn't completely end like that.
I
In
think
the words of Brock
pay-per-view was
Lesnar,
good.
look at this face.
That was a good pay-per-view. That wasn't too bad.
Not too
I
bad.
enjoyed
had
it.
low expectations for that, and it.
I enjoyed it.
So, what did it start off with? Bianca and Io.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
it
the
did.
opener.
And that was honestly a great way to start off. Like, I remember last week when we were talking with Will. Will was saying that this was sort of a, what did he call it? Like a I don't know, like almost like a glorified super show, like a, what was that term he was using?
I don't remember.
Like a bot show or
pay-per-view.
something.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
felt like it was going to be like a regular Raw SmackDown show.
Yeah, like or almost more of like a glorified super show in a way.
Or a
This blew what we heard then completely out of the water. They pulled out all the freaking bells and whistles and everything. They had everybody going nuts.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was a little pissed off though about the finish to the Io and Bianca Belair match.
Yeah,
It was unnecessary. It didn't need to happen. But Bailey came out with some very nice pants.
Black Widow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome.
Oh, that's Chelsea.
Hey, Chelsea.
Hey, Chelsea.
Oh, Chelsea.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, but aside from that finish, Bailey had some nice pants on.
So, hey, Austin.
Bailey was part of
Yeah.
the Yam convention that
When do
night.
you want to get your title back?
Yeah, she was.
When do you want your title back?
You know what? I believe my days of carrying gimmicks are over, man. I don't want no smoke, man. I don't want no smoke.
Speaking of smoke, Omos wanted all the smoke and got none of it against Seth Rollins.
Yes, he
was
did.
A good match.
That was a good match. I was actually. It
Everybody fucking says that was still a good match.
was a good match.
He actually
I was
got a
surprised
good
at that
match out of Omos. He actually got a good match out of Omos.
That
Yeah, he did.
Let's
I'm-
still
I'm-
say, can we not forget the beginning of that was so freaking vicious. The beginning, I mean, we just have Seth in the spotlight of everybody serenading him, and then boom, right to the back of the head. Just like, I'm like, yo, is Seth like? I'm like, I was worried for Seth. I thought he got a concussion. I'm like,
That
It was a good
scary.
way to. It was a good way to start the match. It was a good way to get people to, kind of snap out of the whole. Oh, I thought it was a good way to begin a match.
yeah, I was shocked.
And I like what Seth did. He got Omos to work like a big man because he's terrible at working like a big man.
Mm-hmm.
I will give you that that Omos versus Seth was actually a good match.
It was.
Very, very.
Yeah, it was like I think for me
unexpected.
it was like a solid 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Good match.
So then they do
And then
the triple threat was next.
yeah, the United States triple threat Theory, Lashley, Bronson. Theory got. I mean, no, Bronson got
retained.
pinned by Theory to retain the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was decent.
It
That was
was
decent. I'm not.
decent. I
I'm
mean,
not. I'm not big on Theory.
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
not big on Theory.
I like him.
He's
Not
He's been doing
completely,
better
but
since he got
I do appreciate him and I do like him.
yeah.
he's
doing a lot
got a
better
good.
since he dropped the Money in the Bank brief. I think really we can all say after he dropped the Money in the Bank briefcase, he did a lot. He's been doing a lot better because he dropped
yeah.
a whole selfie gimmick. He dropped the selfie gimmick for being, the guy that we know that he calls himself the Now, ATL, Awesome Theory Live, whatever. But yeah, doing a lot better.
Yeah, he's all right. I'm not sold on him. He's missing something.
Yeah.
I wish they would have given Bronson Reed a little bit more to work with on that match.
Yeah.
Because I only saw him pop like a few times. That man can go.
He really can.
So
again, it's a shame. Like again,
Who's that?
I've been a big
Bronson Reed.
Oh yeah, that dude actually can go. He's really good.
I've seen him in Impact, and he's dude, as Jonah, he's fucking amazing. I saw him in a match against PCO. Holy crap!
Mm-hmm.
PCO's a legend, dude.
Dude, they are fucking crazy. Those two, they went ham. And
PCO's a freaking
Jonah,
legend, dude.
Bronson Reed, fucking wiped the floor with him.
Oh no, my pick was Theory, and I thought Theory was that he looked pretty good in the ring. He actually looked pretty decent this time.
Theory was Theory.
Empowered.
Mm-hmm. Like the way that I had this going though, I wanted Bronson Reed to win because again, what was it? Knowing that he had the previous stuff going on with NXT, North American champion, but then got screwed out of the title due to Isaiah Scott, aka Swerve Strickland, for in AEW with Hit Row, and then we never heard from him again until he got released. And then, of course, he was in Impact New Japan. Then he came back to WWE, which I was like, thank God they did, because oh man, like I feel like they've given Bronson, they've sort of been pushing Bronson a little bit because he's had some very close brushes with becoming recognized. Like the reason that he and Bobby are even like I think the reason why Bronson's was even added to the match was because of what he's doing with Bobby, because though they were the final two men in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and Reed was the one that got eliminated so Lashley could win. I liked that little bit of an incorporation, Reed was even in the Elimination Chamber this year for the United States title. Yeah, that's 2 times he's failed, but I mean, they're still pushing him to be somewhat of a threat down the line. I mean,
he should definitely be in somebody's title picture or at least in a decent storyline because he's not your atypical big guy. He's a good worker.
Bronson Reed versus Gunther.
Ooh.
No, that's not something I would pay for.
Really?
No,
not yet. No.
Okay, because see, I'm thinking the Saudis might like that match.
Not yet.
I mean,
Gunther should legit be in this tournament for this world title they got going.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't. I mean, as far as I know, at least from Raw last night, Gunter's not showing up till next week.
Yep.
As per.
Yeah, he's on his honeymoon. He just got married. He's on his honeymoon.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Jenny.
Yeah, he and Ginny are married, doing the honeymoon stuff.
Yeah.
What's up, Matt?
Or Matt.
Hey, man.
Gunter versus Gable.
No.
No.
I like Gable, and I believe Gable should be. I mean, most people don't agree with me. I think he should be in the title picture, but
I agree.
He's a fucking phenomenal wrestler. He is like me the next Kurt Angle. To be honest with you,
Sheesh.
he could take any fucking well, not any, because that Shorty G kind of almost ruined him. But you know,
that was garbage.
They can run with it, and I like it.
Yeah, at
he's
this point,
really, really
let
good.
stay with Maxine.
What did you say, man?
At this point, let him
You say
stay with
let Otis
Maxine.
be with Maxine?
Yeah, at this point, you can let Otis stay with Maxine for all I care. Let Chad get this run.
I agree.
I think he should beat what's his name for the U.S. title.
Theory.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he should go up with Theory. They should have a feud. He beats Theory, becomes U.S. champ, and then they actually give this cat a legitimate push towards becoming a main event type guy. The dude can work, man. He's one of the better workers on the roster.
Oh yeah.
He's a natural wrestler.
He's phenomenal. I saw him live at Raw, and that was him. Matt Riddle just put on a clinic.
Yeah.
So, what was it? Okay, so the next match after that was
SmackDown Women's Championship match between Rhea Ripley and Zelina Vega. Oh my God, Zelina coming out as like Madame Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Madame Puerto Rico.
That was good.
Puerto Rico edition.
It's like, hola, mamacita, ¿qué estás a hacer?
Ay.
Hey, pero cuidado con el chorizo, vato.
Okay.
With me, I thought the match was really good. I think Selena looked really good. I think, once again, the match was a good match. There's nothing bad about it. she even threw a chocolate at her.
Yes, La Chancla!
The La Chancla was great.
Yeah, the chancla spot was great.
Yeah. I think
she pulled out the chancla. I was like, yeah, that's how you do it.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think the woman that gave Zelina the chancla had an Aleister Black shirt on. If I'm not mistaken, I thought
that
it was
Zelina's sister or her mom, one of the two.
But
because
I believe also, like right when the match started, Michael Cole said that Zelina Vega dedicated that match to her father who died during the 9/11 attacks. I thought that was beautiful.
And then just Michael Cole on commentary. Oh, for any Latino kid growing up, you know what this means.
Right.
Wow.
But that's all he had to say. Honestly, I didn't find anything bad with that. I'm like, perfect.
That was good.
Perfect. Leave it
that was
there.
Good satire. That wasn't racist at all. It was good satire. I thought
for
it was
any
fantastic.
Latino kid, you know what this means. It's like,
because it's the universal sign of you about to get a whooping. That's legit.
Yep. And I mean,
not just for Latinos, dude. Like Samoans get it too.
Hey, I got it. My dad couldn't find the belt. He said, give me the shoe.
Yep.
Like Zelina even got that moment too. She got up to the top. She got up to the top rope, did a little bit of that, and then Meteora. Ooh!
What
I thought that was an entertaining match. She got a nice pop, man. Nobody's pop was louder than Bad Bunny's, but she got a nice
pop. Who was next, man? Like, holy crap.
The sun went
turned into a freaking concert in there, man.
Yeah, like here's the weird thing, though. We went from Rhea Ripley going into Damian Priest. Obviously, they're both Judgment Day. The thing that I've been the question I've been having in my mind ever since that night, why were they all wearing white that night? No pun, no rhyme intended. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Bars. All right.
No idea, man. I didn't even pay attention to that.
Couldn't tell
Yeah,
wait,
no,
wait a minute. I think the reason Michael Cole said the reason Damian Priest had the white on was because like he was wearing white was because I believe Damian said in this story I'm
he
the
believes
hero.
he's the hero.
Yeah. I don't
Oh,
know why
got you.
Rhea would have done it, but oh well. Go with the flow.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Look
But
good either way.
that pop for Bad Bunny.
With a new
Ridiculous.
it was a different song though, because I
It
know
wasn't-
it wasn't Booker T.
And it wasn't new, actually. That's one of his older songs. It's like from 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, but the crowd knew it. They popped hard for it. I was
The,
like, bro.
the crowd knew that song because it was such an old song, like one of his OGs. And they
3 times.
they turned it from a wrestling match into a concert within 2 seconds.
Yep, it turned into a straight up concert. I was like, wow.
I've never
That's how
seen
you-
that
that's-
happen before in wrestling.
Yeah, that's legit.
Like,
Turned to a
for that
concert.
reason alone, we need to go back to Puerto Rico. But
Yep.
now I think we need to start spending our money on some themes, guys. I think we need to start going the Tony Khan route.
You know, funny enough, AEW music, like I'm sorry, I'm brain
WWE?
working goodly on occasion sometimes, so just deal with me. So anyway, WWE music, like I've been getting notifications from their YouTube page. They have been releasing new themes. I've been seeing a new theme for Alexa Bliss. I've seen a new one for Shotzi. I've seen like 2 new ones now also for Tiffany Stratton and Inda Share. So
The new one
they're
for
working
Austin
with
Theory.
something. I think they're working with one for Theory too.
I'm a John Johnston guy. I miss his themes. So
Jim Johnson.
the new stuff is
yeah.
like,
Oh man.
I'm sorry, yeah, Jim Johnson. I'm a Jim Johnson guy. Like, I like some of the new stuff, like the God of El Tasmo. That's a nice theme. But I'm stuck on like what Jim Johnston did for music.
I
man.
agree.
Like his themes are like, you turn on anything from the 80s or 90s and people are gonna lose their mind. You turn on something from the early 2000s, people are gonna lose their mind. Because he had his hands in that music for over 30 years. So when they fired him, I was like,
Shawn
dude.
Michaels, Kurt Angle.
He had his hands for Vader, everybody.
Yep.
Now the best thing for them to do is just to take songs that people know and do the AEW route, like freaking Carry On
Yep.
My Wayward Son with the Young Bucks,
Yep.
with the Elite. Like
Here,
I'm not
son.
even.
So here. Food. Tiny man. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, you're good.
No, you're good.
I'm being a dad right now.
But then the biggest surprise is that some of us didn't get. Mike knew because he knew, he had a feeling, he knew, and apparently,
Carlito.
and yeah, he sent us all hints, but we were not grasping.
Go wash your hands.
We did not see the bigger picture. We were not grasping it clearly
Go wash your hands.
until we were watching that. Until we saw that match, and they hit us out of the blue.
You know, they didn't hit us. They spit at us because we're just not cool.
Dude, so I'm not saying too much, but I mean, I still know a lot of people that are still in the industry and shit. So I talked to a few people. I knew who was backstage.
Yeah,
And I
Carlito was.
like a motherfucker to you guys, and you guys can catch on to it.
I know.
I
Well, look-
cannot believe Carlito. Like I didn't know Carlito was back there. You didn't tell me. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, he dropped.
It's Black Steve Austin. Oh, that's a shame. He was real nice.
What?
What?
Can we cut the commercial? Please?
Sorry, guys. This thing, it keeps cutting off on me. I don't know why.
You're okay.
Hey, he's returned, everyone.
That's like the third time that's happened.
It happens.
Yeah, you were gone, and I'm just like, can we cut to a commercial break?
Excuse us, we're having technical difficulties.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
No, it's on my phone, and my phone goes off a lot. So
It's all right. No worries.
It starts off like kind of like this, you know.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for this special report.
Oh, wait, that's on Social Society. That's
I know, but
oh boy.
We just promoted them. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn producers in the truck there. What are they doing?
you know what I got for y'all on that?
Let's get rid of this sucker!
Fucking asshole.
Hey, here we go.
All right, hear me out.
Bro, you guys have you
Watch
ever
that
noticed
Let's
it?
get ready to suck it part. Play that again and look how many signs are in the back. You don't see that anymore.
Let's
Yeah, man.
You don't see that.
no.
you don't. Those days are gone, man. Those days are gone.
That's when you could buy five. That's when you could get like $5-10 tickets and go out with your friends.
Exactly.
And get a WWE ice cream bar.
So your dad gives you $20 and you're like, "Hey, I got us 4 tickets to the show. Let's go."
Yeah.
Still be a nosebleed.
Man,
Do you think they cared?
I never cared as a kid, man. If you ever got tickets to go to a wrestling show, we didn't care where we were sitting. We just wanted to be there. Man, I got some fond memories, man. I saw Yokozuna and Bret Hart in a steel cage at the Cow Palace in San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
Man, talk about a throwback, man. Bret, and it was one of the blue steel cages too. You remember those old blue steel cages?
Yes.
That's it.
One of those.
That's
Yokozuna.
age.
Yokozuna versus Bret Hart, the steel cage at the Cow Palace. Mr. Fuji cost Bret the match with that doggone salt or sand or whatever it was he had in that bucket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah.
Good times, man. Good times.
Speaking of good times, you know what was not a good time? The Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Matt Riddle bloodline match. That was a snooze fest.
That was
That also was very different. Like we were expecting
It's run its course.
to be like that one was expected to be like, you know, a good match. Like that was supposed to be another one that was going to carry it when it turned out to just like we went from the highest of highs with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, as well as the rest of the Judgment Day, Carlito, Caribbean, Cool,
and Savio Vega.
WO. And then we get this match, and then it just went like the plane started to crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, that engine failure, man.
It's run its course, man.
Yeah.
That whole situation.
It's time for Solo to turn. Like now.
I thought it was gonna happen then. Like
I do.
I saw that and I'm like, oh,
They're feeding it right now.
Yeah, but I don't think we're as hungry for it as we thought we were.
Feeding it. They're spoon feeding it. They're not letting us at least cut a piece of the pie and let us go. Oh, we just give them, you know.
They're giving it to us in the little airplane spoon. Okay, here it goes.
Right, exactly.
Like,
why?
And then you end it with Cody and Brock.
We finally got blood.
I gave you blood.
I was tripped out by that because I know earlier in the week there was a report that came out about how WWE was trying to get away from blood.
Liar!
And I was like, no, good wrestling matches need color to tell a story.
Just
Now, if
ask
you're
John
on John
Moxley.
Moxley's status where you're bleeding every week, I get it. But
He's
Every
out
once in
there.
a
that's
while,
good.
it's nice.
Why is he bleeding?
Yeah,
Mr.
Moxley's always
Colorful.
bleeding, man. I'm tired of seeing Moxley bleed.
I'm not gonna lie. We need to have a nickname for him and just call him Mr. Colorful at this point.
I mean, as much as we're respecting the Muda by calling it the Muda scale, it should be called the Moxley scale by this point.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's reinventing it.
Bro, he's
look,
probably
there,
bleeding
he's
right
gonna
now.
bleed.
But that was a crazy moment though. Like Cody just somehow accidentally like revealing the turnbuckle.
Mhm.
Brock just hits
Well,
literally
what hap-
right between the eyes, as Wax once said.
What
And
happened
then
with the turnbuckle?
it just came out where
Yeah.
it's like you're in that moment from Rocky, like throw the damn towel.
Well, what happened with the turnbuckle was Cody was holding on to it, and then Brock suplexed him, so it literally got pulled off, and he just let
literally
it
got
go.
pulled off, and then of
So-
course Cody tripped so that he fell into that, and then
My God, like he just poured out so much. I don't think I've seen Brock Lesnar bleed like that in
He,
forever.
what I love about it is, I don't know if you guys know the term for it in wrestling. I know all wrestling for life probably knows, but the term for wrestling to get busted open is gigging, right? And there's two ways you can do it. You can gig with a razor, or you can bust yourself open the hard way. Brock went over, he went in and did it the hard way,
Mm-hmm.
which is why it was great.
That's for damn sure he did.
hey, Cam is in here showing love.
Yeah,
for
he
Black Steel
actually
Austin.
busted.
Let's go.
He actually busted himself open on the turnbuckle or the
Mhm.
ring post. I should say.
That was great.
Yep. And it was crazy too to see Cody like in like part of his body being covered in Brock's blood. It was like, whoa. Just something
Yeah.
different.
That
And
was
then
actually
Brock-
really good.
And then Brock's face when he showed up last night, like the whole scar, and then his eyes
Yeah.
just gone.
Yeah.
It's
I believe there were staples like right here.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
but with his eye being, it brings more of a realism to it. You know,
Oh, it does.
For
You know,
real.
you want to see what's going to happen next when you see shit
the
like that.
eye is what got me more than anything else. Yeah, the scar, whoopee. His eye was so dark, I couldn't even see the actual eyeball itself.
I don't think like it's been a while. I don't think we've really seen Brock Lesnar with a black eye in like
20
who knows
years,
how
maybe.
the hell long.
Been a minute.
15 to 20 years at least. So like
Oh,
that was great to see, but I do understand why, you know, that ending, that roll up ending kind of was like bland.
It was weird because like Brock sort of had Cody in a pin, but then Cody kind of quickly reversed that, and then all of a sudden 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, wait,
But
what?
But
Three?
see, I didn't mind that though. You got to think about it. All right, when they did it with Bobby, that was unnecessary. But when they
Yeah.
do it with him, it's because he's smaller than Brock, so he just outsmarted him. That made more sense.
And
Yes.
clearly they're continuing the stories. At least this chapter of his story.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Cody's
it
not
makes
gonna-
sense in the long run that he would roll him up like that. Now knowing what we know, it makes sense. But
Yeah.
like when we saw it, it was like, the fuck was that?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
And I think the big talk for Backlash was everybody was like, why was Bad Bunny not the main event? Why was Cody?
Because Cody was the draw.
I think Bad Bunny was the draw in Puerto Rico, though.
For people
I
watching,
think Bunny. I think for this particular event, Bunny was the draw
Yeah.
for Backlash.
Bad Bunny was the
ticket sales.
entire draw. Like that
And-
was the entire reason for it being in existence.
Clearly, they chose the wrong main event. They called it a double main event, and they chose the wrong one. Clearly, the crowd let us know that.
Yeah, like
immensely.
yeah, because like apparently from what I understood, before before like the whole pay-per-view started, was that the Sun One Street fight was supposed to be one half of the main event, but
Mhm.
yet we had Riddle, Zayn, Owens versus the Bloodline right after that match. Why
Yeah.
not put it back a little bit?
I
What
agree.
I would have think would have been actually good if you wanted to throw a middle match there, literally swap that Zayn Bloodline match with Zelina and Rhea, because you just got that big old hype from Puerto Rico. You keep that hype going with Zelina Vega as she comes out as Madame Puerto Rico, and I mean, and you keep that hype going all the way till Brock, and they're like ooh and ah throughout that whole match, giving it more hype and validity than what it had.
Yep. When the main came on, crowd was
And it's because of that Zayn Owens bloodline match. That just killed the crowd.
it did.
What's up, man?
It did. Hey, what's going on?
What's up, Kai?
What's up, Cobra
Cobra Kai.
Kai?
Cobra Kai. I don't know if you ever met Black Steve Austin. This is Black Steve Austin. We know him for a while.
Jannabug.
Doing the normal thing, just being
Former
myself,
wrestler.
coming out of the gimmick. I still wrestle from time to time. Wrestled a few weeks ago in what was it, a 10-man tag? It was a good time. It was funny. I wrestled, so I don't know if you guys remember him, but Mustafa Saeed was New Jack's tag team partner back at Smoky Mountain. And I've had the privilege and opportunity to spend some time on the road wrestling in a tag team with Mustafa Saeed. So, dude's like my uncle. He's my guy. But I was in a 10-man tag with him, and a couple other guys from a promotion here in Sacramento called SPW, Supreme Pro Wrestling. It's run by Sir Samurai and Scoot Robertson. Okay. And so I wrestled a few weeks ago at their anniversary show, man. We packed the place out, man. There's almost 500 people in this place. It was crowded. They had a like a pre-show event. It was like a WrestleCon kind of thing, and people came in, and there was all kinds of vendors that had all kinds of stuff, and Brian Cage was there, and Jacob Fatu, Sione Finau. So it was a good time, man. I talked to Brian Cage for a bit, about the road and things like that, and he killed the rumors with he was going to WWE. He's like, nope, I just signed a new deal with AEW. I'm not going anywhere. So good dude, very very cool dude, man. I hadn't seen him in a long time, so it was good. It was good to chop it up with Cage, and Jacob Fatu and Sione Finau. They're the Sione Finau's. They're the MLW tag team champions. Yeah, man, it was a good time. It was a good time. I was in the ring with Boyce LeGrand and Rock and Rodeo Express and Truex, Mike Truex. It was a good time, man. I had fun. Yeah, but I miss wrestling regularly, but with the gig and being a dad, a full-time dad with 2 kids, dude, I kind of take it easy with wrestling, But I miss it. I miss it a lot, and I look on social media all the time. I got a couple buddies. My best friend is doing really well, and then my buddy Danny Limelight is the current United Wrestling Network champion. He's the Future Stars of Wrestling champion. Dude's got belts from all over the place. Gino Told You So. he's doing really, really well. Um, so I'm good where I'm at. I miss wrestling, but I'm good where I'm at, man. I enjoy watching, and if I can work every now and then, I'll work. Um, there's a place here. They do televised wrestling every Thursday. There's a television show, Next Level Pro Wrestling. So every now and then I'm on there, and it's a good time.
Yeah. So you miss it. It just you miss it, but you're happy where you're at right now.
Yeah, I miss wrestling, but I'm very happy with where I am in life, man.
Yeah.
My dream job was never to go to the machine and work for Vince and work for WWE. That was never my dream. My dream is doing what I'm doing now. So I'm happy, man. I couldn't be more content. If I ever give me the opportunity to wrestle, though, I'm like, heck yeah, man, let's do it. So I'm supposed to be wrestling my trainer here next month. I think at the end of this month or next month. He's retiring. I've never wrestled him, so I was like, hey, man, we got to wrestle. He's like, yeah, let's do it. So we're going to work.
Guys.
Hopefully I don't,
Hey,
what's up?
I want to apologize. I'm stuck at work, and I got a bunch of fucking customers, so I'll be on as soon as I can. But you guys are killing it. Love you guys, and I'll see you soon, okay?
We appreciate you.
Awesome, man. Oh, good, dude.
Too sweet.
Wait, hold on. One more time. One more time, please.
Okay.
There you go. That's for you, Too Sweet.
Or just
Yeah, see that's how we show love the degenerate way.
Yep. You know what? You know what that laugh reminds me of, Phil?
Seth freaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still like that when they're talking about the rumors were about it going away from PG, and they were like, Seth fucking Rollins.
I'm Seth fucking Rollins.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna go away from PG after he says something like this.
Bye bye, bitch.
I mean,
I think if they gave these guys and some of these girls more creative freedom as far as their promos go, we'd see more authentic stuff happening.
I agree, but I don't think. But I think just with, even though Vince is still kind of hanging around with like as being like chairman of like board of directors, I don't think we're gonna let him be as free like as say like Tony Khan is with the AEW guys. Not that I'm comparing the two. I'm just saying it's like it seems with AEW they have a lot more like on freedom on the stuff that they get to say, whereas with WWE, it's a certain product that is delivered to a certain audience.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
See, I think the freest we saw them at that point for Triple H was Matt Riddle, Seth Rollins. Where are you? I'm gonna come find you.
Yeah, and they started bleeping him out when he was saying,
"Come find me, bitch! Come find me! Come on!"
Yeah, he was saying, "Come find me, bitch!" I'm like, what?
I will kill you! I will kill you!
What trips me out about the whole Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle thing is, if you notice, what was it last week? Randomly out of nowhere, that beef just disappeared.
Yeah,
like it's gone. It's gone.
That's WWE. Weird. That's quite typical WWE.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It ran its course. It wasn't going to last very long.
Now, see, if they want to, they can always bring that back up, though. They'll be like, hey, remember what you said about my wife? Oh, I'm sorry. Now my ex-wife? Yeah.
They could, but it's not going to go anywhere because it's lost its thunder.
Yeah. No, but if they ever go back to a title match, they could, like a title contendership.
But you
mean bring it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would bring it up then, but even still, it's like, okay, but you guys were just hugging it out when, you guys ran out and saved whoever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you couldn't go back to it.
No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be wrestling smart.
No.
Um,
If they didn't associate with each other whatsoever, like on camera whatsoever, then it would have made sense. But since they associated on TV, on camera, it wouldn't make sense.
yeah, it doesn't work. I miss how it was back in the day when you didn't know anything. You knew nothing. If you and I don't know if you guys remember the dirt sheets back in the day. They used to have dirt sheets,
Mm-hmm.
and you would actually have to buy them. You know, and that was around the times when guys used to tape trade.
Yep.
And if you didn't see a ECW pay per view, well, we might have to do some tape trading, bro. I got this Ring of Honor tape. I'll trade you, and you can watch this ECW pay per view for your Ring of Honor, or this New Japan for your freaking, for your whatever tape you had. Like tape trading was a thing. But back then, man, we didn't know what was happening behind the curtain. And there's too much of that going on now, man. People know too many of the secrets as to what goes on. Like guys can't even speak Carney anymore because everybody knows how to speak Carney now. That's a fan.
Yeah.
Some fans don't even know what Carney is.
Listen,
Like
I'll
words like mark and gimmick and all that stuff is all a part of that language. And
Yeah, there's a lingo.
I became a fan
yeah,
in 2016, and I figured it all of that lingo out within a year.
Well, I see the word mark people use too freely.
oh
Yes.
man,
It's been used in
Everybody's
a
a
very
mark.
light, where it's meant.
The word mark means that the person believes the storylines. Like they believe Roman's actually that top guy. He's actually defeating these guys in real fucking life. That's a fucking mark.
Roman,
it's
I was on a live with Willie Finesse where they were like everybody was just goofing around, and they got to one point. I think it was I don't know who it was, but somebody posted a picture of Roman. He's got like every single type of title that the WWF WWE has had on his arm, on both
Oh my
arms, the
god.
King of the Ring crown, all the way down his freaking body. It's like you have the tag titles, the Intercontinental, the Divas title, the light heavyweight title, and then they just started like shooting stuff out just for fun. It's like Roman versus my girl's twerking addiction.
What's up, Taekwon?
Godzilla
Hey,
Roman
Taekwon.
versus
well, what's funny too is a lot of people don't know where that term mark comes from.
right.
And so I was in an Al Snow seminar some years ago. And Al
Oh.
Snow's he's standing on the ring and he's standing on the ring and he's like, "Do you guys know where the term mark comes from?" And none of us knew. Some of the old heads knew, like guys that had been working a while. But he was like, "Okay, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to explain to you what a mark is." Back in the day, as we know, professional wrestling came from carnivals, man. It was a carny thing.
Mm-hmm.
And people would buy tickets. When you bought a ticket to the show, the person standing at the gate would stamp your hand and leave a mark.
Mm-hmm.
So when they went to go count tickets, they would count people, and the people they would count people by the mark on their hand, which is what made them a mark, right? So people have taken the term mark and turned it into this negative word, or they turned it into this and that. And it's like, no, I'm a mark. You're a mark. Anytime you buy a ticket to a wrestling show, you are marking yourself. You're a mark. You're a mark for that show. Like it's so when you hear the term mark, I always smile because I'm like, most people have no idea where it came from. But Al Snow put a lot of us up on game as to what a mark actually is. It is not a bad term.
Yeah.
To be a mark means you bought a ticket to support your local wrestling event. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all marks for the
I know
business.
where it originated from. I know what it turned into. And that was a person that believes in the stories, and that's the term I knew. I never knew about that one. So see,
yeah, man, it came from Carney days. It came from the Carney days, man.
And it doesn't matter. I'm gonna point this out. It doesn't matter how long you've been watching wrestling, how long you've been in wrestling. You're learning new shit every single day. Not everybody knows everything in wrestling. Period.
Nobody will ever know.
Yeah, you're
Nobody will
ever
shit every day.
I'm not gonna lie. The version that you said for Al Snow, I've literally seen that whole story in a TikTok video. I think it was on like Tough Enough or something. He did it for like an episode of Tough Enough.
Yeah, he shared that whole episode with us at a seminar. It was a SoCal Pro seminar, and that's the school I started at. When I first became a wrestler in 2014, that the school I started at was SoCal Pro, and I started with my best friend. And Al Snow was one of our first seminars. We had a Dan Severn seminar, we had a Ricky Steamboat seminar, and we had an Al Snow seminar. Ricky Steamboat, man. Oh my God. You talk about one of the most knowledgeable wrestlers, man. Holy crap. Steamboat is a legend. He's one of the only wrestlers in history that never worked as a heel, ever. He was face his entire wrestling career.
Oh, I didn't know that was Steamboat.
Steamboat's never been a heel, ever.
I mean, I was going to say the same with Ray, but I think Ray's been a heel before, though.
No, Rey Mysterio was a heel in WCW when he took his mask off.
Right.
But Steamboat, oh God, dude, the knowledge that dude has about working a match, and he gave us some of the backdrop to WrestleMania 3 and how Macho was so serious and he was such a perfectionist and this and that. But he was like, but what that taught him was the importance of telling a story in wrestling. It makes a difference, man, because people nowadays it moves so fast. People aren't selling anymore. Nobody's selling their bumps anymore. Nobody's selling getting hit in the face anymore. I will sell a punch.
That's what I. All right. So that match with Roman versus Cena, I said he was not selling it, and people said, "Yeah, he was." I said, "You he sold certain parts, but he didn't make it look like he was exhausted at the end. At the end, he walked out, not tired, not exhausted. Comes out and goes, "It's my city now." Like that's. You don't do that. You completely ruin the realism of it when you do that.
Yeah, guys don't sell nothing no more, man. I sell so much, bro, that when I give somebody a suplex, I sell the suplex.
Yeah.
Because it hurts hitting the mat, bro. That ring is not a mattress. It's a bunch of wood slabs with a 1/4-inch thick pad and a canvas over the top of it. It freaking hurts, and it's all on a steel frame. So if I give a guy a suplex, I sell the suplex. Like you'll see me reach for my back because it actually hurts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm getting punched in the face, I'm gonna sell that punch to the face. The best way I learned to work when I first started was if you don't sell, somebody's going to make you sell.
Yeah.
I didn't want nobody making me sell nothing. Like, you can hit me. Yeah, let's hit each other. Let's tag each other because that's wrestling. But you don't have to force me to sell. Yeah. I'm going to sell for you. Yeah, and you're going to sell for me.
That's where I was getting at. You summed it up
like, guys,
better than I did.
It's crazy to me how fast everything moves and nobody sells anything. The way I like to work is similar to like Bret Hart and Steve Austin style, right? Like,
yeah,
Steve was high intensity, then he'd slow down. Whereas Bret was so methodical. He would actually like take all of his heat in his hope spots. And I never paid attention to that as a kid because I just was like, oh, Bret's great. But then as I started watching, when I started wrestling, I was like, bro, this dude sells so good. And then not only that, he turns all of his hope spots in a match into heat. Case in point, he'll send a guy off, give him a clothesline. He'll work a guy to a corner, whip him to the corner, whip reverse. They send him into the corner the hard way, and he takes that front butt and bump into the corner, and then he takes the back bump. Yeah. And he's working his hope spot at that point. And the cutoff is, and I'm just like, dude, Nobody does that anymore. Nobody tells the story wrestling anymore, and it's annoying to me because I'm like,
It's
I want to
still real
be
to me, damn it.
exactly. It's still real to me, dude. Like
Damn it.
I want to be caught up in the moment as a fan
Yeah,
with
that's what I was
this
trying to say.
really good match, and instead I'm getting guys that. All right, here's a lockup. Oh, snap. He just flipped. Oh, another flip. Oh, there's a big boot. Oh, there's a flip there. Like, dude, stop with the damn flips. And
Just like
the slappy leg.
yeah, just like The Rock, you know, he oversold a lot, but he sold.
He sold.
Yeah.
He sold. No. You know who the best seller was in all of wrestling? No. Shawn Michaels took it from him, though. Mr. Perfect.
Oh,
Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
I need to watch a match.
Listen, man. Perfect was the best seller. That was I forget what event it was, man. And I want to say it was a Survivor Series. All Wrestling for Life. You probably know this, dude. Hogan was working this match, and I can't stand Hogan, but he's working this match with Mr. Perfect, and he takes him over and he gives him a shot on the buckle, and Perfect legit flips. He flips and then lands on his butt in the corner. Right? Hogan goes back, comes up, gives him a running leg, and he just flops right out of the ring through the bottom rope. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I was like, dude, you talk about one of the best sellers though. That Mr. Perfect, man. Kurt Hennig, he's man, legendary seller. Legendary seller. God dang.
You summed it up better than I could. You know, I think I get a little bit more of a. I think I put too much emotion into what I'm talking, so that's why, you know, it's because being in it and doing it, you got that emotion and shit. Like you see stuff now and you're just like, it's not the fucking same, you know. And I understand why it's not, but it still messes with you when you watch it.
What a nerd.
It does. It would be great to see guys work, you know, like to see a real lockup and some real chain, you know, some real chain wrestling, some real headlock takeovers. Yeah, some real headlock takeovers, man. You know, seeing guys take a wrist lock and work that into a corner, you know, and then snap mare, you know what I mean? And then hit the rope and then come back with something else and then grab a hold, you know what I mean? Like, it would be nice to see guys actually working.
So
but we don't see that anymore.
So since we're doing terms, we talked about selling, we talked about mark. All right, I was told differently on the. All right, so I was told the meaning of a botched was a mistake. That's what my understanding was. So botched, what were you told botched was? Because I was told differently.
I was told that a botch isn't even a botch. Botching isn't real. And here's why. Here's why botches aren't real. Professional wrestling is unlike anything else people watch and enjoy. Yeah. Right? It's all, nowadays, it's all live. It's all live. Nobody says to a rock and roll guitar player, you botched that chord. Yeah. Nobody says to a singer, you botched that note or you botched that word. Right? So, like, to say that wrestlers botch, you're Monday morning quarterbacking a live performance. There is no such thing as a botch. Yeah. Sure, there's spots that are missed, but that's not a botch. Sure, there's guys that take a bad bump, but that's not a botch. Wrestling is live all the time. It is a live performance. And for people to say you botched this or you botched that, it pisses me off because I'm like, okay, how about you get in there with this guy that weighs 250 pounds more than you do and you body slam him.
Yep.
Or you take a freaking missile drop kick off the top and you freaking let him throw you around for a second and tell me that I botched. You
Yeah.
go right ahead.
Yeah.
You know, I hate that term, man,
Tell
because
me how to do my job.
right, botching's not a thing in pro wrestling. I think Chris Jericho said it best. He was like, if you
Yeah.
say I botch, you know, screw you. Like
Yeah.
the botching is not a thing, man. It's a
All right.
live performance.
Yeah. So,
You
all
know,
right.
like
So when I was wrestling, I was told like a botched was a mistake. Like you're like I had a pretty hard ass. You know, he goes, you should know how to do this. You keep botching this shit. You know, and he goes, botching is a mistake because I didn't know the meaning of it at one point in time. He goes, it means a mistake. So this whole time, and Shadow corrected me on it because I was always thought it was a mistake. But then he told me to watch Chris Jericho's thing, which I watched, and now I know, you know. And I just wanted to see if you had the same terminology that were you told the same terminology that I was, or because everybody's told differently. I don't know why.
I was never told that something was a botch. A mistake is a mistake.
Yes.
However, the mistake is only a mistake to the workers because fans don't know you messed up. You know you messed up. And if you know you messed up, what happens? Guys stop moving. The number one rule I learned in wrestling was you never stop moving, even if something gets messed up. I was working
No,
a
I know
match.
that.
I worked a match a year or so ago with a guy in Southern California, um, and he was supposed to throw a line. So instead of throwing the line, we both ducked and ran past each other. I turned around, I hit him, I suplexed him. And I pinned him, and as I pinned him, he came back up. I put him in a rest hold, and I said, "Hey, dude, it's okay. Don't stop moving." And we just kept working. You know what I mean? Um, but a mistake, nobody knows it's a mistake until the workers start telling people it's a mistake, right? Like you don't know I messed up unless I tell you I messed up. Most of the time, I work heel. So if I do mess up, I will turn to the crowd and say, "Yeah, I messed up. What? I'll mess up again." And then I'll start calling out what I'm doing to the guy. Watch this body slam. Bam. I'm going to hit that rope and come off with an elbow. Bam. And fans are like, what are you doing? Like, you jerk. You're telling us to match. And I'm like, I'm not telling you to match. I'm telling you what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
And they're like, what are you doing?
I'm a heel. I can do what the hell I want.
Well, like I said, like what I was told
Now
was
I
different,
know.
and I just wanted to know because there's other people that are told the same thing I'm told, like in their wrestling. You know, I talked to a few guys that are wrestling and shit like that, and I asked them too. I said, you know, what's the term botch to you? And they said mistake, and I'm like, okay, that's what I was told. But then other people are told differently. So I think what it is, I think the terminology got fucking mixed up, just like the word mark
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened. And some people are told one thing, and other people are told others. So
Yeah,
it's good
no.
to know.
A
So
botches, for me, botches don't exist in wrestling.
yeah.
If you
So
messed up, cool, you messed up.
yeah. So
But
don't use the fucking term botch because
yeah,
it's
I hate that term. Like I
yeah.
hate that term. There's no need to call a performer out for making the mistake. Nobody ever calls out Tom Brady for throwing an interception. You know what I mean? Like nobody ever calls out Beyonce for, not having enough fire in her concerts. You know what I mean? Like it's a
But there
live
are
performance.
unsafe workers though.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I've come across a few, and most of the time, there's guys. It's the guys that have never. They're what we call yarders. Um, and they've never trained a day in their life. One sec, guys.
And for real quick, for those that might be watching later on, Shadow's the guy. He runs off the top. He's on Twitch as well, so you guys can make sure he's. So is Phil. Phil's part of it as well. So don't hesitate to go over there and check them out. They're also on YouTube.
So the next word we got to talk about is this one.
Mid.
I love that clip because I'm an MJF guy, man. He's fantastic. I love that dude,
Yep.
man. He never stops working. He never stops working. It's great.
He's the type of
Mid.
wrestler you really like because he never drops the gimmick.
Never.
Yeah. He doesn't turn it off. It's fantastic. That term mid. So that's a new thing. That's a new thing.
To
I
me,
think mid.
it's a new thing, but I think I would say mid as like mid card, like you're mid. That's the way I.
Yeah. That's what I associated with too. Like, hey, you're a mid carder, dude. You don't need to be in the main event picture. You're not there yet. I privy myself to be a mid card guy in wrestling, and it's funny because like there's some of my friends in wrestling are like, dude, you need to win a gimmick and you need to be a singles champion, and I'm just like, dude, can you really see me wrestling some top star from somewhere in a title match in a main event for your show? Like, think about that for a second. Like, come on, man. I'm not one of them guys, dude. I'm a mid card guy. I'm sometimes a bottom of the card guy, and I'm okay with it. I don't need to be, the gimmick holder and being the leader of somebody's company. That's not my thing. I would rather work with greenhorns and bring green kids up that are 2-3 years on, a year on, 6 months on, and teach them what I learned. Like, hey, this is what my trainer taught me, so I'm gonna carry you through a match best I can because that's where I'm at. I'm not one of them guys who's, I need to be here. Like, no, I'm good. Yeah, that you're mid carder. You're mid carder. You should be in the main event.
That's why I take it as the whole term came because I forgot where they were. I think they were in Illinois, and he was like, why the Midwest is where.
No, I know
whatever
exactly where they were.
It's mid. That's what he said. That's
No.
what he terminized.
I remember that whole freaking promo. They were in Cincinnati for John Moxley's homecoming. You know what? This set is mid. You know what? You know what else is mid? Skyline Chili. Mid. Your Cincinnati Reds, who haven't won a World Series since 1990.
Mid.
Like, okay, I was born and raised in Cincinnati, so I'm like, yeah.
Middle of the road. You're middle of the road, man. Yeah.
No, but he's absolutely right. I'm like, you're an ass, but fuck you. You're right. Fuck you. The whole city is mid, but it's one of those. Okay, and
love MJF, man. I really got into him when he was on the Steve Austin Show podcast, and he was pissing Steve off. And before he leaves Steve's house, he spits water on him, and he runs and gets in his car and drives off. And Steve's screaming at him like, "You piece of shit! You just came in here and you spit water in my face in my house." It was the funniest thing ever. And MJF's a really good talent, man.
I've heard that little bit where he does that.
He's a really good talent, man. For him to be that young and to be that good,
probably one of the funniest things I've seen him do. It's a person's video from like a convention. They brought the baby, and the baby was crying, and he just wah, just right at the baby. As a parent, I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. But then as a parent and a wrestling fan, I'd be like, you know what? That's even better. That's even better because you know what? I can then tell my kid, yeah, you're the kid that got yelled at by MJF as a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, then again, like you look at MJF, like you look at some of the people he looked like that he kind of looks up to. I think one of the ones like when what was it? When he was in the feud with CM Punk, he mentioned Roddy Piper, obviously, and he said, unlike you, Roddy Piper actually once main evented a WrestleMania. Maybe if I'm not given the right credit I deserve, maybe I'll main event a Mania 2. And I'm like,
I
like,
I
yo,
think that I think that he uses the opportunity to go to the machine a lot,
Oh
knowing
yeah.
full well he won't go to the machine because we know what'll happen to a guy like MJF if he leaves AEW.
Yeah.
He'll be censored. He'll be, hey, you can't say that. You can't do that. We're a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
And you can't, and it's just, I mean, the dude can bury half the roster in a promo.
Oh my god. How?
oh
So
yeah,
How?
half the people
he
leave,
can
baby.
probably bury like 3/4 of the roster in a promo. But the current champion,
He could
he,
bury
he
the
would put
entire
under the
Like
roster
little
in
bus,
like
you know?
kids,
15.
make them look like little boys, little
Dude,
Yeah,
could you
boys.
he can talk with the best of them, man.
Could you imagine though, like seriously, MJF on a WWE and actually having an open mic and just yelling at Vince, calling him a fucking mark?
Yo,
Man,
Vince would come
Hey,
out.
no. He'd be like,
"Yarr!"
no. He'd be like, this is exactly what he'd do. Hey, guess what, Vince? I didn't sign your NDA this time, so fire me, you fucking mark.
yeah.
Next thing you know, you hear the music.
Oh
and
no,
then
I got
just,
a better one.
MJF.
It'd be more like saying, "I didn't sign your NDA, so you can't just fuck me and run away."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That sounds more like it. That sounds more like an MJF thing right there.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, how many women have you done that to now? Let me count. 1, 2. Fuck it, we don't care anymore.
I still
just like
how
you did
they
to the
that.
women.
Who was it? God, I can't remember the name. The scissor me daddy has.
Billy
The
Gunn.
Acclaimed.
The Acclaimed. I
Oh, the
like
Acclaimed,
when
the
they
Acclaimed.
did that to Vince though. They actually did him in one of the raps.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah. Yeah, he came out and rapped that, and he was like, "Yeah, something about Vince McMahon." And yeah,
Let me see if I can find it.
The Acclaimed got no filter. I Instagram. Yeah.
I actually liked the Acclaimed. I was pissed when they lost the belts.
Tire like Vince McMahon.
I was actually pissed when they lost the belts.
I mean,
when the Guns lost the belts
Acclaimed.
to FTR.
The Acclaimed.
Oh, the Acclaimed lost the belts to the Guns. Oh, I think
when they lost the belts to the Guns. Yeah, that crowd went dead too when they lost.
Hey, Mike P.
There it is.
Running in the game, yeah, we got all night. Everybody saying that they
Acclaim the leave the gun club in a bad way. We got the match in the bag cause it's trash day. No filter, I ain't Instagram. We make the ass porn retire like Vince McMahon.
I love that they dropped his name on AEW TV and nobody said a word. Fantastic.
Yeah. No, they just got.
I think with AEW though,
sign an NDA like Vince McMahon.
The way that the AEW is going, they're focusing too much attention on beating out WWE, and I think they should stop doing that.
Yeah,
I think they should just focus on their product and keep doing what they're doing and making it better. They also need some writers, man.
Thank you, Sammy.
Cheers, Sammy.
Shout out to Sammy for the 10 biddies.
I think they should focus more on building the brand and getting some writers. Stop letting the inmates run the asylum and get some writers over there, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I did bring up. I mean, I don't care what. I still think this. You know, I didn't like what Eric Bischoff said, but I mean, I know there's a lot of things that he's saying, but I I would bring Eric Bischoff in to do some writing. Not head writer, but just someone that has a knowledge of shit.
I wouldn't bring him in as
have full control. Just
I wouldn't bring him in as a writer. I would bring him in as somebody that's working with the agents backstage,
okay.
the match agents backstage. But I wouldn't bring him as a writer. I wouldn't bring in Vince Russo as a writer either. I wouldn't even bring in Freddie Prinze Jr. as a writer. And Freddie Prinze Jr. was actually not a bad writer at WWE. But it's you want fresh wrestling to go around. In my opinion, and a lot of people may not like it, but I'm a fan of Jim Cornette as far as writing wrestling goes.
Okay.
Oh,
Because Jim Cornette is an encyclopedia of wrestling. He can make stories. He can repeat the same story 10 times, 120,000 different ways.
Well, Jim Cornette was also the one that told New Jack to go out there and be racist.
And it was the craziest thing. It was the craziest thing. I talked to Mustafa about that, man, and he had me cracking up. We were driving down the road to do Lucha Extreme, and I go, "Hey, man, you remember that promo New Jack cut?" And he said he dropped the OJ line, and I swear, this is what he said. Man, Mustafa go, "Man, I thought we were gonna get killed in there, man.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna die, man." Hey, he was like, "I'm looking at D-Lo because D-Lo got the gun in the bag, and we standing in the ring. It's just three black folks and Jim Cornette in a room full of white people. And man, I tell you what, listen,
a room full of white people.
Listen, man, when we got out that ring, we started walking up that ramp, man. I looked at D-Lo. He had his hand on that in the bag, it was his hand on the gun, and it's the police. They surrounded us. Now you gotta remember, this smoke him out, man. This smoke him out, man. We ain't in no regular territory. It's like everybody in there white. We was the only color in there. And I was cracking up, man. He's like, "Man, I thought we was gonna die that night, man." I told New Jack, I said, "Man, we gotta get in the car. We gotta go right now." Even the police were looking at us funny. I was cracking up, man. That was some funny junk. He was like, "Man, I thought the white people were gonna kill us that night, man." As soon as he said that OJ line.
I mean, I would bring some what they say, old heads, but I think the older people, some older people coming in like Jim Cornette, like Eric Bischoff, and although a lot of people didn't like Vince Russo, I mean, I'd bring him in just for ideas. Just ideas. And
what if, let's just say, because Chris Jericho says he is going to retire soon, what if he becomes a writer?
I think Jericho would be a great writer. I think Jericho would be great for a writing team. But
what if him and like Jeff Jarrett were the writing team?
I don't know about Jarrett, man. You see what Jarrett did at
he was running TNA.
Yeah, that's what I've always.
I was gonna say he did a great job at TNA, but when you got guys like Hogan that was at TNA, and Hogan won't even put blankets over himself. He doesn't like anybody going over on him.
Well, that was the Dixie Carter move.
The only person
because she thought that Hogan could draw still and bring some fresh faces to TNA, but the product started to die.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It did, and it didn't. What it is, it did bring fresh eyes to the product, but then they didn't see the product we all watched. They didn't see the 6-sided ring,
I hated that ring.
Amazing shit that happened in that ring before Hogan showed up.
I hated that ring, but those X Division title matches,
those were
dude.
They're
suicide, bro.
I mean, those Ultimate X matches are still crazy to this day. Like I just saw at Rebellion where Ace Austin and Chris Bay defended the Impact Tag titles against the Motor City Machine Guns. That was a crazy match.
I've seen those two, Ace Austin and Chris Bay, in an X Division match.
Chris Bay is probably one of the coolest dudes I've ever been in a locker room with.
The finesse.
Chris
You
Bay is a
wouldn't
great wrestler.
you wouldn't think it if you looked at him. He's not very tall. He's not a big dude. But that cat can work, man. I mean, he can work. Such a good dude, man. Like
But
he's a
that's
good dude. He's a
but that
funny cat too, man.
I mean, pre Hogan, that's all you had was workers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everybody was there. All the good workers were there. But then Hogan showed up. But I mean, I could see Jeff Jarrett being a writer, but he's still heavily involved as a worker. And guys who still work, they somehow incorporate themselves into the writing. And it's wrestling's full of people with egos, and that's one of the biggest things. Is guys still have these huge egos. It's like, bro, you came, you saw, you conquered. Let the young guys get their go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guys are too busy. Oh, I just want one more run as champ. Like, I get it. You're trying to get your money, but dude, come on, man. Like,
See,
Here's a great idea.
Legends. I love my legends. I don't think you should put the championship on them, but I do want to see. I mean, I don't mind them coming back if they can do it. Like Booker T, I love Booker T to death, but after seeing him in the Royal Rumble and how slow he was moving, I'm like, yeah, it's not me
he does.
or nothing. It's just
Book don't need to come back. Steve don't need to come back. Goldberg needs to stay his ass at home.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
There's guys that just don't need to be in the wrestling ring anymore, man. I was a huge Mark Henry fan. I was glad when he left because he's got nothing else to prove, you know. Like,
yeah.
Now here's the thing with AEW needing more writers. Here's an idea. How about we go a little old school? Open contest. Let one of the fans become a writer.
with
I don't
with
know.
Like
the
dream job.
man, listen, with the mindset of wrestling fans today, a fan becoming a wrestling writer for a major promotion, nah,
Definitely working.
See, let's say if I was a writer for WWE, the one thing I would want to do is design. I mean, like if I had full control, I want to redesign all the fucking titles. That's one because I want the championship to look like a championship, not a toy. Not only that, I would consistently like tease, randomly have an AEW like an AEW star show up. Like for instance, here this would make sense. You would have Roman on like one of his hardest matches or whatever, and then John Moxley showing up and distracting him, going, "Holy shit, that's John Moxley from AEW! What the hell?" And then Roman showing up and then distracting him in one of his important matches. Do something like that. Just incorporate it. They don't have to do anything, but distract, and then slowly do something where you do, a Survivor Series, AEW versus WWE, and then make WrestleMania a 2-night event still, but make sure it incorporates every organization. Make it the Super Bowl of wrestling.
Yeah.
I can agree upon that. One thing I would do away with if I was a writer or part of creative for WWE is to do away with the whole brand split thing. Back in the day, during the Attitude Era, everybody was on every show.
Mm-hmm.
There was no, okay, you guys are on Raw, you guys are on SmackDown. It was, hey, stop, please, son.
The brand split makes sense during a Ruthless Aggression era because they had a lot of talent.
Yes.
Now they don't have
yes.
that, so they don't need a brand split.
They don't need a brand split now. They have talent, but the talent isn't being used correctly, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got one guy who has 2 belts that's never there. And it's yeah, dude, I like Roman. Don't get me wrong, I like Roman. I think Roman's a great worker. He's developed into a really, really good worker over the years, and I appreciate Roman. But he doesn't need two belts. In fact, the WWE doesn't even need two belts. They only need one. And
Well, the two belts have already been unified technically, so technically it's one belt.
well, yeah, it's one belt, but you can still like they don't even need those two belts to be unified. They only needed one to begin with. They only need one tag team title. They only need one women's title. They only need one mid card title, and they can choose between the United States or the Intercontinental. In my opinion, I would have the Intercontinental because it holds more weight than the United States title.
Yep.
Right? The United States title was a thing for NWA, WCW.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I wouldn't have it. There's too many belts. There was a time where a title meant something, where having a belt meant something. Guys held on to that belt, and it didn't get passed around. Like Mike Tyson said it best. At the time he was heavyweight champion of the boxing world, Mike Tyson said, when I became world heavyweight champion, there had been 76 other world heavyweight champions. 76. Over the history of the WBA, there were 76 world heavyweight champions. He was number 77. He said, I wanted to remain.
The people they have now, like the amount of people is about roughly right around how many people they had in the Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I can understand. Me, I love belts, and I like the brand split, but not with them not utilizing talent, and on top of it, not,
it makes no sense.
Utilize them, then yes, I can see it.
And all these guys are supposed to be, they're supposed to be private contractors or independent contractors, and none of them can wrestle in the indies. None of them can wrestle for other promotions. They have to solely be WWE. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. Whereas AEW guys can wrestle anywhere they want, anytime they want. They can hold a heavyweight title for indie promotion and go work those shows while still remaining under contract with AEW. They can go make money elsewhere. They can have good money with Tony Khan and AEW, but they can go make money elsewhere.
Well,
whereas in WWE,
they did that with
you could.
Dan Sullivan, I think his name is. What is his name?
You can do that back in the day with WWF.
He was
because Vince wasn't paying out.
Yeah.
Dan Severn.
Yeah. He had the MMA.
Dan the Beast Severn.
And then he had another title.
Yep. Dan the Beast Severn. Yeah. But they don't do stuff like that anymore. They don't do stuff like that no more. That dude was a beast, bro. Dan Severn was a monster. But they don't do stuff like that anymore because the WWE is it's got a huge monopoly on wrestlers, and they have all that talent, and nobody's on TV every week, wrestling on TV every week. Nobody's doing anything on TV every week the way that they used to, where talent was being seen regularly. You know what I mean? That's not the case anymore, and it really sucks.
Dude, even Takanuku got shown a lot on.
Bro, he was the lightweight champion.
Yeah.
He was on TV every week. Freaking Kai was on TV every week, dude.
Yeah.
And now, guys like that, you wouldn't see guys like that on TV today.
Shit, we don't even get the funny moments, kind of like where Gilbert speared. I love how Triple H sold Gilbert's spear. I fucking loved it.
We don't have none of that now, man.
Yeah, it's crazy though. You mentioned Kai and Tai because, funny enough, Jimmy Wang Yang's daughter, I think her name is Jaden Yang, and then Funaki's son, they just started getting into the wrestling business.
Man, Kai and Tai was the junk, bro. They came out with their blue and white, their manager with their freaking katana sword, and dude, they almost got Val Venus. Yeah.
Yeah.
God dang, dude. That was good stuff back then. The Michinoku driver, man.
Yamashita. Oh, yeah. Yamashita. Yeah, Mr. Yamashita.
Yep. That was good stuff, man.
This should have
It was,
been
it was
Valvinus'
entertaining.
theme, man. This should have been his theme.
Yo, who remembers the 2001?
Oh my gosh.
When, does anybody remember what was it? The 2000 Royal Rumble where Kai and Ty kept trying to enter and they're always like, get your ass out of here.
Hold up.
Oh, it was a Royal
They would
Rumble
always
I
show
loved.
that one moment when they threw out Funaki and then boom, his head at the
Yep.
ground. It's like, yo, JR, throw it back. Let's watch this again. And then
Man.
I'll tell you the Royal Rumble I loved when Mick Foley came out each time with a different fucking person.
Yes.
that was 1998. Yo.
That was good.
Okay. So I played you what should have been Val Venus's theme. This would be his modern day equivalent.
Oh no.
I'm done.
That's horrible, man.
YouTube,
Oh,
no. And they're like, what are you watching?
Hey, what you watching? No. Imagine that in the Royal Rumble just.
Oh god.
I miss
Exactly how you
Bro, that was probably one of the greatest Ric Flair promos ever, where he just started taking off his clothes and freaking throwing money and shoes and everything everywhere. Listen, it was so funny because he goes, "Don't piss off! Don't you cut to a commercial? If you do, you come back, I'll be naked."
and then
That was one of the
know-
best
Do you know
promos
what year?
ever,
What
man.
year is that? Because I became a fan in 2016. WCW is the one thing that I'm missing via Attitude Era stuff.
I think it was like 96, 97.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
it's
I'm already on
live.
Peacock.
It's live on Monday night. And Flair's in the ring with Mean Gene, and he just starts taking clothes off. He was pissed. He took off his. He was like, "You see this Rolex? $25,000!" And he chucks it into the crowd.
They tried to
Yeah, I'm
recreate
like,
that moment
yo,
with Black
money.
Machismo on TNA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they did.
and I think they delivered with that one. It was fucking great.
That was yeah. But god dang,
And
dude,
then, of
Ric
course-
Flair,
And then, of course,
man, that promo. It's still hilarious to me. Still one of the funniest promos. Jay Lethal and Ric Flair promo is still one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
The woo off. I tried
mean,
uploading
like Kurt Angle did it first or
that
whatever.
whole promo on TikTok, but now they got it to the point where you can't because they put a copyright on it.
Jay Lethal, man. Another underrated talent, man. Jay Lethal's such a good talent, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I like Jay Lethal too. The problem is they have him they just have him in this weird little group where with Jeff Jarrett and then the two clowns right now that are Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh. Like those two are just a sideshow attraction.
I've always had an issue with tall guys in wrestling. But that dude is like useless. He doesn't do anything.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Satnam Singh doesn't do a thing.
He's just tall and doesn't do anything. He's useless.
Yeah, we literally picked him up out of India where he was playing basketball to do what exactly?
He's not doing anything. He does absolutely nothing. He's a useless tall person. And it's annoying to see him. He's getting more TV time than guys like Brian Cage and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And he's getting more TV time than, a good friend of mine, Will Hobbs. You know what I mean? Will Power. You know what I'm saying? Like, Powerhouse Hobbs is like...
Powerhouse.
Bro, like...
Will's phenomenal. We do need to see more.
I remember when he first started at APW, or at the garage in Hayward, California. Man, he was He was a valet for Derek Sanders, and he broke into the singles thing because he had a match with his the guy he was valet for, and it was perfect. And then he put on size, and then he got in this tag team with Damian Grundy, and they were called Cold World. And then next thing I know, he's on AEW, and I'm like, bro, he was really good, man. Good
Yeah,
dude too, man. Really solid dude.
Eastside Paulo.
But
Heartbreak.
yeah, tall dudes that are useless shouldn't be in wrestling. It's ridiculous. He's not doing anything.
Yep.
So
Honestly,
how do you feel about Omos then?
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Omos, but I love MVP. MVP is a good dude, and I love MVP's story. He's proof that you can go to prison and still become something. But I'm not a big fan of Omos. He's still coming into his own though, and um, I think MVP is coaching him up in a good way to get to show him, hey, you have some talent. Like, you can actually do this, dude. You just got to learn the business better. But I'm not a fan of Omos because he's just another big guy. He's a Vince guy, Or he's gigantic. I love it. He's so big.
Yeah.
Like,
This is some good shit.
Big,
yeah.
mad,
It's
slapping.
like, he's fantastic. He's 7'4" and he weighs 580 pounds. That's a monster.
He's a giant with a monster cock.
I'm not a fan of large guys. It's not my.
Are they doing anything with Shane Taylor? I haven't seen him lately.
I haven't seen him in a minute. And Shane Taylor is freaking awesome.
No, I know Shane Taylor. Like I just haven't talked to him in a while because he's been.
He is awesome. Like, that's a cat. Heck yeah. Shane Taylor is fantastic. I don't know what's going on, where he's been, but god dang, he's fantastic. For a man his size, he can move, man.
Well, I know once everything was kind of slowing down with the pandemic and ROH.
Yeah.
He was just kind of homebound, taking care of his kids, stuff like that. And he said he was pretty much open for bookings, and that's what he would do, kind of like what you're doing. And then he got called up. I think Tony Khan rang him, and I think it was more for the ROH stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know he showed up on AEW, but I thought he got signed. But I don't know. I never asked him.
I remember James. I know that James went to indie promotion, and I know he recently met with Shane Taylor, got a picture with him. I don't know. I think it was Diamond something Wrestling. It's an indie promotion.
I'll give him a message here in a little bit.
Yeah, you'll have to.
Yeah, man. It would be nice to see Shane Taylor on TV, and it would be nice to see him back at least in Ring of Honor, if not AEW, at least back on Ring. A buddy of mine just made his debut at a Ring of Honor. He's my trainer's son. His name is Titus Alexander. God dang, that kid can work, man.
Oh yeah, Titus Alexander. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He's freaking good, man.
He was a guest on the Phenomenal Four when they were still around.
He's freaking good. I really hope that he gets signed to somebody soon, man, because that dude is he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So let me
He's
ask
really,
you,
really
we
good.
got like the last 30. We're at the tail end of the show with the last 30 minutes. Monday Night Raw, the heavyweight championship, the World Heavyweight Championship. What do you guys think of those matches? And then the matches for Friday. What do you think?
Seth was way too predictable.
Yeah, I agree.
You could tell that who Seth was paired up with in the triple threat, it was way too obvious who was going to win. Even though I was a guy who was rooting for Shinsuke or Damian, well, mainly Shinsuke, Mike knows. But I was so mad.
He's gonna kill the Miz next week.
I honestly really don't think Seth needs this title. Seth does not need it. In my
See,
That's
okay,
that's what
here's Phil. Phil, 1 week you're like, no, he needs a title. He needs a title. Now you're going, he doesn't need a title.
that's
Fickle.
what that's what bothers me. A lot of people, a lot of fans think that a guy needs a title when he actually doesn't. You know who was really good that didn't need a belt? Jake Roberts.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Jake Roberts was
No title.
amazing. He didn't need a belt. He was over more than a lot of guys who were over. Like he was over, and he didn't need a belt. Seth Rollins doesn't need a title run to be relevant.
That's
I
Fans
think it's
pop for the
more.
guy's theme song, dude.
I think it's more to make the title relevant.
hmm
He doesn't, but he doesn't. Anybody else could fit that spot to make the title relevant if they can connect with the fans, man. Like
So do you see somebody from the other bracket on the SmackDown side possibly winning it?
the guy who I think should win that belt ain't even in the tournament, which really sucks because
Who do you
he's the
have?
guy that they should. I had Gunther winning that belt or Walter winning that belt
Mm,
because
I agree that Gunther should hold the title.
when Triple H
Yeah, go ahead.
mentioned that whoever wins that belt is going to be wrestling all over the world with it, that's the guy I would like to take that belt to Japan or Europe and beat the snot out of people, and I would enjoy watching.
Yep, one big.
I'm not. I
A
can't.
big strong Austrian.
I can't say that I'm going to be entertained watching Seth Rollins wrestle Japan's top star or Seth Rollins wrestle the top star in Europe or the top star in Africa or wherever they decide to go. But Gunther is a different beast, and I think we saw that at WrestleMania in the triple threat between him and Drew McIntyre and Sheamus.
Yeah, that's basically Austria versus Ireland versus Scotland, right there.
Like we saw the that was the in my opinion that was the best match for both nights of Mania. And a close second was Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair because that match was freaking fire.
That one was also a 5-star match.
So I'm putting those two as my top two best matches for both that night. But the Triple Threat Intercontinental title match stole the show, in my opinion. Them three dudes put on a clinic in that ring. I was on the edge of my couch watching it with a buddy of mine from work, like, bro, this is nuts.
Yep.
I haven't been excited for a wrestling match like that in years. I was like, bro, this is freaking amazing.
Oh yeah.
I was pissed off I couldn't be there.
Now, see, now you did bring up the whole around the world thing. What about someone like AJ Styles?
AJ Styles could do the same, but AJ Styles his light dimmed out, man.
What if
He was hot when he first came in, and he had this amazing match. I was there. It was the Money in the Bank match against John Cena. And, dude, I was there with my buddy Chris, and we're sitting in the crowd. When I tell you it was so loud in there when they were chanting AJ Styles, let's go see the AJ Styles. It was so loud in there, man. We couldn't even hear each other talking to each other. That's how loud it was. But AJ Styles, like his light dimmed out, man. When he lost to Taker at the Mania, where they did the Boneyard match, you know, it dimmed out, man. And he started relying too much on the
oh,
what do they call themselves? The guys, the Lou Gallows and
yeah, the OC.
the OC, yeah, the OC, yeah.
Yeah, Luke Gallows.
He started relying too much. It's the same thing that's happening with Roman Reigns, man. Like the bloodline light is dimming out because he can't win without
Solo.
Solo Sikoa or one of the Usos interrupting or Paul Heyman doing something. He can't. His light's dimming, man. He's a weak champion now. He's weak because he's got people keeping the belt on him. I don't see anybody else that should win that title and be the first new world champion. Um, other than Walter or Gunther,
Oh, it's most
I
likely.
see nobody else.
I don't think is Gunther even in the tournament.
No, he wasn't.
No, he's not, and it's a travesty that he's not.
I
You
think
can
because
put
he's holding on to that Intercontinental for a little.
Yeah.
bit. They want him to beat
Like
Honky Tonk's record.
that shouldn't even matter. Records shouldn't even. That pisses me off too.
Yeah.
Well, let's just keep the belt on him so he can break the record. Like
That's what they're doing
that
with
pisses
Roman.
me off too, man. Titles are meant to be defended.
Yeah.
If you're the champion, have matches, defend your belt. If you lose, you lose. That's why Ric Flair is a 16-time world champion. John Cena is a 16-time WWE champion. Triple H, 13-time WWE champion. Like, if you lose, man. That's just what it is.
I mean, Charlotte Flair also 14. Charlotte Flair also 14-time world champion.
Like, if you lose, man. That's just what it is. It should not matter.
Randy's also 14-time world champion, and he's lost.
Like, but holding the belt for hella long to break a record. The reason why Bruno Sammartino never lost is because he was just that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey guys, since there's 19 more minutes left and I kind of got screwed on this podcast tonight.
Yes, Sammy, I did say Randy.
Mr. Black Steve Austin, would you like to
Yes,
come
sir.
back next week? Would you
Sure,
like to come
man.
back next week and be on with us Degenerates and Atlas Hightower?
Absolutely. Anytime, man. I got nothing else going on other than life away from wrestling. And yes, Sammy, he did say Randy.
Yes.
Yeah.
14-time world champion.
14
I
times.
will make sure to tell my boss to suck it, and I will see you guys next week. I appreciate you guys. Mike, you can suck it too. And I'll see you guys next week.
Leave
Oh,
Mike
sorry.
alone, man.
Dedicated
I
to
sure-
Stone Cold. I gotta give you
I
the belt.
miss it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Gunther is the best choice to win that belt, but they care too much about records. Oh, we've got to be the IC champion for X amount of time. Man, get out of here with that card.
Yeah, that kind of just blew away what I was gonna say, because I've kind of been hoping Gunther will be the one that will surpass the Honky Tonk Man for the longest Intercontinental title reign. But again, that was me.
I'm sorry. I don't give a damn about records. I care more about wrestling and a decent product that people can be attached to. Like,
Well,
I don't
like I
care
said,
how
we
long
were
a guy has a
spoiled back.
belt. Like,
We were spoiled back
we
in that
we
year.
were.
We had five,
We
six
were.
guys going after the championship, and it was always
Yes.
and all that stuff. It was entertaining. You were always like, oh, are they gonna get this time?
You had Steve Austin, The Undertaker, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Triple H. You had Mick Foley. You had like so many guys.
Big Show.
That why, Sammy? Why, Sammy? Why, Sammy? Why F Gunther? Why? Why?
You don't like Gunther.
She don't like him. She just, I think she even said he just has a punchable face.
He's so good. He's so good. He's so good.
See, there we go. I just want to punch him in the face.
He's so good. Like, for a man that size to move that way and to put on matches, he's so good. When he was in the Indies, like oh my God. He's got some of the strongest chops you've ever seen.
Exactly. I remember seeing Keith Lee doing them Mongolian chops. I'm like, yo, that could clear up my sinuses if I had a bad sinus infection. I see Walter give you a knife edge chop. I'm like, yo, that guy can restart my heart. You know, it'll just be like clear.
Oh, she just doesn't like his face.
Hear me out.
Could be a great wrestler.
One thing I wouldn't mind seeing: a returning Rusev to face Gunther.
Yes. Yes,
Rusev
yes, yes,
Putria.
yes.
For the
Rusev
Intercontinental
Machka.
Championship.
Bro, if Rusev came back and wrestled Gunther, I would give WWE my money. I would actually give them my money.
I think, yeah. Think
Hold up.
Yep.
Oh my god, I would give them my money.
Rusev Putria. Rusev
Man,
Machka.
Machka.
no, just
I would
Rusev's my
give them
dude,
my money.
man.
you gotta bring the song that Rusev Bachka. You gotta he has to be the brute.
Bum 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 bum
Dude.
bum.
Oh man,
And he's gotta come out
I
with
would
Lana.
legit give them my money.
It is now
That would be a
time
feud
for...
that would be a feud that we would all want to see.
Oh yeah.
Dude, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's add. So Rusev comes out with Lana. Gunther comes out with Jenny.
Oh.
I don't even care about the women. I want to see these two dudes beat the hell out of each other.
Oh.
But the women can fight.
That
Jenny
would be
can
a
wrestle.
feud, bro. Oh man.
And just think about this.
Big
Four
mini man
guys
stabbing me.
constantly going after the title. Constantly. Not at one. I mean, they're all going at it, but it's not like a fatal four-way. It can be later on. Drew, Sheamus,
Rusev, Gunther.
So hold on. We have
Bro.
Scotland, Ireland, Austria, and
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. Thank you. There you go.
Bro,
And an
do you
intercontinental-
know that would sell tickets,
Did
dude?
did I just give prestige to the Intercontinental Championship?
Yeah, you did.
Now that's gonna
But
happen.
even still, now imagine this. Imagine this. Gunther no longer has the IC. He's now got the World Championship. The World's Championship.
Yep.
He's gonna dude. Matches he could have with people like Nick Aldis.
Oh my god.
Matches he could have with
Impact. He signed a new deal with Impact. So,
bro. Oh my god, dude. If they did it the right, if WWE could do it the right way.
They can't do nothing until the old man dies.
yeah, like we missed out on great opportunities. Like people were saying that WWE would pick up Jay White. Jay White got picked up by AEW. Well, we always have Nick Aldis. They're Nick Aldis.
But look,
I'm still.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm still stuck on the fact that they keep bringing back old guys. When you got talent that can actually work, that can draw, that can, dude.
See, if it was me, like I said, I know I can write a show. I know I can. And see what the first thing I'm doing is my main focus is gonna be on that. And then later on I'm gonna do some crazy shit where you got two of the best talkers and probably two people that people may like really dislike. They're great wrestlers, but like character wise, the Miz and MJF still have MJF on AEW. Could you imagine them tag team partners, like tag team champions? But he's on AEW and Miz is over in WWE.
Dude, do you know who I would have Gunther drop the Intercontinental title to?
Who would you have it?
LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, LA Knight got
You talk about a dude that I would have him drop the belt to LA Knight. I would have him be the workhorse for that belt, put the world title on Gunther, and bring in guys like call up Rusev, like, hey man, what's up, dude?
Well, he's still in contract with AEW, but
He's still in
not
contract with
doing
AEW.
jack.
But even still, I would kick down that door and be like, you know what? Yeah, you're a rival company. So let's start working together. I can't monopolize, so I might as well work with you. So let's start
Work with
working
yep.
together.
And then you can have
Let's
people
start.
showing up all every now and then, just out of the blue. I mean, could you imagine MJF just showing up on fucking SmackDown, going, you're the one that everybody's talking about, Roman, going, well, so that's your title.
Yeah.
This is mine, and then you gotta just raise it. Boom, do shit like that. And then next
God, I would.
Music hits. You got the Impact champion coming out, going, "Oh, that's your championship. This is mine." Just do stupid shit like that. Just holy fuck, what's really going on?
Ooh.
And then it all gets silenced by one word.
Mid.
Oh.
Are you saying that would be mid?
No. I'm saying MJF would be like, "Oh, look, it's the mid card, guys."
No.
Man, I would. Oh my God.
Just the
His
interaction
music starts.
alone
He starts
would draw
walking.
people.
Then cut my music. Cut my music.
Why am I doing part of the mid card?
Just the interacting with each other would have people. They would break the fucking internet.
Yeah.
The wrestling world would lose its mind. I mean, there would be freaking bear scat and human semen everywhere because all these fans would be like,
for
like
15 minutes straight. An American crowd would be saying "Holy shit" for
people,
15 minutes
people
straight.
Dude,
would lose.
every
man would have a hard on
in the fucking stands would have an erection. Even Michael Cole. All right,
Absolutely. It would be. That
Vince
would
be watching at
like
home and be like, "Wow, I wish I thought about that."
he would listen. Vince would have an aneurysm if he saw that. What was I thinking? God damn it! Like
banger after banger after banger.
Look at it,
And he's made the points. Hey,
like legit, man. Oh, dude. But this kind of stuff can only happen if guys would just take their head out of their ass and look at the bigger picture. There's still money to be made. The money's not the problem.
Wrestling right now,
The
as we speak right now, it's not what it used to be.
No.
The only way to actually make sure that wrestling succeeds and it goes in the direction you want to go is actually, you don't have to open a door completely. You just got to let it
just crack it just a little bit.
We just have to believe. That's all.
Just crack it.
I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. We love him in London and Paris and Tokyo.
Oh my God. What is this?
Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry
It's Joe
is
Hendry's
the
theme.
Impact Digital Media Champion right now in Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
You just made the list.
Man, listen. If only people in wrestling could see the bigger picture of things, bro. They could just crack the door just a tad bit. Thank you.
And they've done it. They did it with ECW in the 90s. They allowed Mickey James to come down with the Women's Championship for the Royal Rumble. Just boom. Just try it out. And don't tell me it won't succeed.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. You bring up the fact that Mickey James brought up Mickey James with the Knockouts title because I mean, not too long ago with Rebellion, she relinquished the title due to some sort of injury. I don't know if that means if this leads to a retirement or not. But of course, the new champion was crowned in Deonna Purrazzo, and yet Deonna Purrazzo's first opponent for that new Knockouts championship is none other than Naomi, or now that
Trinity
she's
Fatu.
as Trinity. Trinity is her first opponent,
which is good.
I mean, it's great. Like, she debuted in Chicago, so yeah, me, Chi-Town down all day. But yo, I was not expecting Trinity to show up in Impact. I didn't know if she was completely done with wrestling or she was going to discover any other avenues. But Impact Wrestling, you know what? I'm okay with that.
Her and Sasha Banks, they got a bad end of the stick with that, man.
They did.
Yeah.
They
How
business was
dare
just
they
bad.
run off and do that? It was such a disgrace to.
But see,
Such
But
a
here's what's
disgrace to
crazy
the
about
company.
that too is they took from them, they took from the women's titles from them and put them on two chicks that aren't even with the company anymore.
Wait, they took it off Sasha. Yeah, they took it off Sasha and Naomi, and then they gave them. Who did they give them to right afterward? Was it
Them
Raquel?
two chicks are gone.
Was it Raquel Rodriguez and Olivia? Or no, Aaliyah?
I can't even remember, but them two chicks aren't even there anymore.
The current ones?
No, whoever they lost to, they lost. Remember, they had the belts, and then they lost to who was? And I might have it mistaken. I know they lost to somebody at Mania.
I thought they they didn't lose.
Oh,
them.
the Iconics.
Yeah.
No, they didn't
Oh wait,
lose
no,
them.
that was when the women's tag titles were introduced because Sasha Banks and Bailey won them in a tag.
That's right. So yeah, that was my mistake.
And then they lost those titles to the Iconics at WrestleMania 35.
So who did Naomi and Bianca lose to?
They didn't lose them to them.
They didn't.
Just dropped,
So Sasha-
they dropped it on the.
They just dropped them, right?
Tournament.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
Laurinaitis, they dropped the titles on his desk and left.
And the funny thing is, that is the true downfall of WWE. That right there. Because from that moment sparks all the Vince McMahon NDA stuff.
And what they're mad about, what they were mainly mad about is that they wanted to be able to defend the titles like they wanted to. But Vince was like pretty much, oh, they don't want to see that. When we do. Don't tell us what we want to see. We want to see the titles defended. I don't care what title.
No, man. According to Vince, we want to see the gobbledygooker.
Which was supposed to be the Undertaker.
According to Vince, we still want to see people like Repo Man.
I'm dead, not Repo Man. Like
Hey,
showing up for the
I love
Gimmick
Repo
Battle
Man.
Royal at WrestleMania 17 was enough.
I was there. That was my first Mania, WrestleMania 17.
So you think Seth is winning that new title, but who do you think Seth is going up against?
Seth is
He's gonna win it. He's gonna win it. Cody ain't winning it.
Seth
Clearly.
is gonna win it, but like as far as who represents SmackDown, I would not be surprised if it was AJ Styles.
All right, so it's 11 o'clock, man.
Yeah,
It is. So
it's late.
So
I'm normally in the bed by this time.
Where can all of our fans and everyone find you at? Shout out your stuff.
I'm on TikTok, Black Steve Austin, and the spelling that you see there. I'm on Facebook, but Facebook's more of like a personal thing. It's not even a wrestling thing. So I try to keep my personal life and my wrestling life separate because in my personal life, I'm somebody that people don't actually like when it comes to my job. But Black Steve Austin on TikTok. Give me a follow. I also do little videos for people. So if there's a request that you have, just let me know. And I don't charge money for it. I'm not one of them guys like, oh yeah, pay me $10 for this. I'm not one of those people.
It's not like him.
And also tell them where they can find you if you when you wrestle.
If you're in NorCal, if you're in Northern California and you want to see some wrestling, you can catch me at Supreme Pro Wrestling every now and then. You can catch me at Next Level Pro Wrestling. You can catch me at Pro Wrestling Alliance. And wherever else I'm welcome to wrestle here. You can catch me wrestling in Northern California. You can look me up on YouTube, Ice Cold Joe Gamble. There's matches on YouTube of me wrestling. If you've never seen me wrestle, you can look it up.
Ice cold. I like that.
Well, thank you.
Well, we appreciate you for coming in.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you guys for having me, man. Free Talk Wrestling. We're going to whoop some ass. We're going to drink some beer. We're going to whoop some ass. Free Talk Wrestling.
You know what we really tell everybody to do here, though? We always end the show like this.
Oh, let's get